Good morning.
Morning.
Why don't you introduce yourself and tell me why we're here today?
My name is Ryan Clark. I'm the lieutenant of the 49th British Grenadiers, and the reason we're here this morning is we're doing a memorial march for the Battle of Queenston Heights. We're going from Fort George to Queenston Heights and then back to Fort George.
And what kind of a distance is that?
About 22 kilometers.
Nice. And somehow you talked me into this?
I talked myself into it somehow. I did it the first time I did it by myself, and I was like, if I can do it that once, I should be able to do it again. And other people wanted to join in, so we've been doing it. I think this is the 8th time I've done it.
Well, let's see how it goes today. Thanks, Ryan.
Not a problem.
I'm James, and I'm with the 49th Regiment of Foot.
And do you think you're going to make it there and back?
I'm hoping. I'm going to try my best.
I'm right there with you.
My name is Lance Corporal Zane Scott. I am with the Royal Newfoundland Regiment.
All right. And you think you're going to make it?
Oh yeah.
Excellent. What confidence.
My name is James, and I'm with the King's 8th this morning.
Excellent. And are you going to make it?
All the way there and back.
Awesome. What confidence.
My name's Heidi Madden. I am a camp follower with the 49th Grenadiers.
And you're doing the march?
For the first time ever.
Are you going to make it?
We're going to find out.
I'm right there with you.
I'm Joanne LaFlamme. I'm head camp follower of the 49th Grenadiers.
Head camp follower. Wow, that's a nice title. All right, and what are you doing today?
I am going to be driving in case anybody has to step out or needs water or first aid or anything like that.
No one's going to have to step out. We all
Nope.
got this, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Where are you going?
To the heights!
Keep on, 21 and a half kilometers to go. All right, this is an interesting feature along the walk or march. We're about 2.5 kilometers from Fort George. You can see by this marker that this is a launching point for the boats. So the British had dragged boats across land to this gully, which is an old creek bed, so that they launched the boats from there, and that was the lead elements for the attack on Fort Niagara on the US side when they captured that in December of 1813. All right, here we are at McFarland House, about 2.5 kilometers from Fort George. This was built around 1810, so it would have been here during the War of 1812. It's one of the oldest structures in this part of the Niagara, largely because a lot of the Niagara was burnt by the Americans during the War of 1812. Hi, I'm Tom Fournier. I'm one of the marchers today and also chronicling this. I've last done the march there and back 6 years ago. Here's hoping I'm up to it today. 22 kilometers, we're about 2 kilometers in. This is one of my favorite markers along the route. Thomas Moore, Irish poet, visited this area in 1804. And a lovely spot it is. All right, we're here at Browns Point, about 7 kilometers from Fort George. So there was apparently Browns Inn here with a river wharf and such. So an important transshipment point. Goods would move up the Niagara River to just below the falls. That was what Queenston was there for. Stuff would get loaded off the boats onto wagons, taken around the falls and loaded back on boats to access Lake Erie. All right, apparently we have another Browns Point. This one where apparently Sir Isaac Brock ushered his words to the marching militia, "Push on, York Volunteers." So all the same, nice vantage point. And if you look way in the distance, we can see the bridge, the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge. So that is our destination, just short of that bridge. So a new fixture along the Parkway and a very poignant marker telling the story of Chloe Cooley, an enslaved black woman in Upper Canada. She was bound, thrown in a boat, sold across the river, and her screams and resistance gave the impetus to start Upper Canada towards banning slavery. So that happened right here in this area. All right, this is Vrooman's battery. So this battery, during the American attack on Queenston, they were firing down the river at the American boats as they were making their crossing and causing a lot of mayhem. So from here, we're about a kilometer or two into the village of Queenston. There we are, entering Queenston. You can see the monument up above the tree line. That's going to be our ultimate destination, or the halfway point. Go. This is always one of my favorite parts of the march. Coming into the village of Queenston, you can transport yourself mentally back to 212 years ago, soldiers marching to the sound of guns and the battle up ahead. It certainly gives you that feel. So this school is named for John Richardson. He's known as Canada's first novelist, but he also wrote some records of the War of 1812, first-hand accounts. I know him as a gentleman volunteer with the 41st Regiment of Foot. So he was at the Battle of Detroit, part of the retreat up the Thames, and had some great accounts of those actions. So there, this little connection to Queenston. Here we are in Queenston. This is the homestead of Laura Secord, famous for her walk that supposedly alerted the British and resulted in the action Beaver Dams. So, very nice folks at Niagara Parks Commission offered us a rest stop here and some snacks. All right, the Laura Secord Homestead is one of the many wonderful historic properties operated by the Niagara Parks Commission. So that's here in Queenston. Also just up the road in Queenston is the Mackenzie Printery. So some couple of really neat sites. And of course, go all the way upriver to Fort Erie. Old Fort Erie's one of our favorite spots. All right, the last push to the top of the heights. Apparently this is the easier way, easier than the staircase. We'll see. All right, we're about halfway up the heights. And from this vantage point, actually a little bit higher behind us, is where there was a battery firing down on the American troops crossing the river. So a bit of a stalemate in the town. The Americans found a fisherman's path that took them around the defenses up to the top of the heights, and they were able to attack down, capturing the battery and causing all kinds of mayhem. here's the view from up on top of Queenston Heights. You really are quite high. And it's a broad river the Americans had to cross in their boats. With a good current, they had trouble hitting their landing spot. The current kept pushing them downriver. Now, it's a spectacular park. Beautiful landscaping. And then, of course, the monument, which is a tribute to General Brock. Now this is kind of funny. This was part of defenses built on top of Queenston Heights later in the war. It's the Queenston Redan. Now the embankments house a splash pad for the kids. If you don't believe me, there you go, Fort Drummond. Okay, a newer feature here on the Heights is this monument to the Indigenous participation and role during the War of 1812. This is called the Landscape of Nations. Quite neat, really. Look at that, we did it. We're back at Fort George. Let's see the happy smiling troops. All right, we start out with 7, 6 made it all the way. To the Heights.
To the Heights.
All right, march on.
Forward, march.
We wouldn't have done it without our follower.
Right.